In this video, we're going to work through several examples of finding the x and y intercepts of linear equations. Now, the linear equations that we're going to look at are going to be in various forms. You'll notice the first one is in slope-intercept form. We'll also look at point-slope form, standard form, and then a horizontal and vertical line as well. So the x-intercept will always be found when your y value is 0. And similarly, the y-intercept will always be found where the x value is 0. So we're going to solve each one of these algebraically first, and at the end of every example, I'm going to show you a graph so you can get an idea of what it looks like visually as well. So the first one, y equals 2/3 x minus 6. We're going to have to do this twice, once for the x-intercept and once for the y-intercept. So the x-intercept is found where y equals 0. And the y-intercept will be found where x equals 0. Okay? So let's go ahead and plug in 0 for y into our equation. So I'll have 0 equals 2/3 x minus 6. So in order to solve for x, I could start by adding 6 to both sides. So I'll have 6 equals 2/3 x. And then to finish isolating this x, we could divide by the coefficient or multiply by the reciprocal. So let's multiply both sides by 3/2. So on the right side, the 2's cancel and the 3's cancel. And again, we do this by design so our x is isolated. And on the left side, we can put that 6 over 1. And I notice that we have some cancellations here. The 2 and the 6 can become a 1 and a 3 respectively. So 3 times 3 is 9. So it looks like our x value for our intercept is going to be 9. But let's go ahead and write that as an ordered pair. It's going to be 9 for the x value and 0 for the y value. So 9, 0 is the ordered pair of the x-intercept. Okay, let's go ahead and find this y-intercept then. So the y-intercept is where x equals 0. Interestingly enough, this equation is written in slope-intercept form, so we know that the y-intercept is going to be -6, but I'll go ahead and show you the algebra anyway. So y equals 2/3, and then my x value is 0 minus 6. Since this is multiplication by 0, it cancels, and I have y equals -6 as promised. Okay, so let's go ahead and write that as an ordered pair as well. My x was 0, and my y is -6. So my other intercept is going to be 0, -6. So for our first example, we had the linear equation y equals 2/3 x minus 6, and its two intercepts are going to be the ordered pairs 9, 0 and 0, -6. Let's go ahead and take a look at the graph of that. In this second example, I have a linear equation, and it's written in point-slope form. Y minus 4 equals 5 times a quantity, x plus 2. So let's get on with it. So to find the x-intercept, I'm going to plug 0 in for y. And to find the y-intercept, I'm going to plug 0 in for x. All right, so let's go ahead and start with the x-intercept. So 0 minus 4 equals 5 times the quantity, x plus 2. So I'm trying to solve for x, so let's go ahead and distribute first. So on the left side, -4. On the right side, 5x plus 10. Let's go ahead and subtract 10 from both sides. So I'll have -14 equals 5x. So I can divide both sides by 5 to get that x all by itself. And it looks like I have -14/5, or if you prefer it as a decimal, -2.8. So as an ordered pair now, we have the x value as -2.8 and the y value as 0. So we'll write -2.8, 0, and that will be the x-intercept for this line. Okay, let's go ahead and find the y-intercept, and that will be where x equals 0. So y minus 4 equals 5 times 0 plus 2. So I can add 4 to both sides and then kind of simplify this. And I'll get y equals, well, 0 plus 2 is 2. 5 times 2 is 10. And 10 plus 4 is 14. So it looks like my y value will be 14. So my ordered pair then will be the x, which is 0, and the y, which is 14. So it'll be the ordered pair 0, 14. So for this linear equation given in point-slope form, the two intercepts will be negative 2.80 and 0, 14. Let's go ahead and look at a graph of that. In our third example, we're given a linear equation in standard form, 9x minus 5y equals negative 15. And probably standard form is the easiest form to work with when finding intercepts. Okay, so remember the x-intercept will be found when y equals 0, and the y-intercept will be found when x equals 0. Well, if y equals 0, then this middle term here will actually just zero out. So what I'll have is 9x equals negative 15. But I'll go ahead and show my work. So 9x minus 5 times 0 equals negative 15. So that zeroes out, and I'm left with this, which I can then divide by 9. So x equals negative 5/3. So that ordered pair then would be negative 5/3 for the x and 0 for the y. So there is the ordered pair for our x-intercept. Let's go ahead and do the same for our y-intercept. And our y-intercept is where x is 0, so it's going to zero this one out. And again, I'll show you the work. So when that zeroes out, I have negative 5y equals negative 15. Division by negative 5 shows me that y equals 3. Okay, so my ordered pair then is 0 for my x, 3 for my y. And this linear equation given to me in standard form has intercepts negative 5/3, 0, and 0, 3. Let's go ahead and take a look at a graph of that. In these last two examples, we're going to go ahead and take a look at a vertical line and a horizontal line. And you'll notice something interesting about these is that they don't have two intercepts, one x and one y-intercept. They actually only have a single intercept. So y equals 2 is a horizontal line, okay? So that means it's going to go straight across this way, parallel to the x-axis. So it will only have a y-intercept. And that y-intercept will be that y value, which is 2. So we could write the y-intercept as an ordered pair 0, 2, because the x-intercept, there isn't one. So here is the only intercept for the line y equals 2. And here's a graph of that. In this last example, we have x equals negative 7. And x equals negative 7 is the equation of a vertical line, which means it's going to go up and down, which means it's actually running parallel to the y-axis. So it will never touch the y-axis. So as far as a y-intercept is concerned, it doesn't have one. But as far as an x-intercept is concerned, it will cross the x-axis at this value of x, negative 7. So the intercept is going to be negative 7, 0. So here is the only intercept for this vertical line, x equals negative 7. Let's go ahead and take a look at the graph of that.